Alright, just recording this for posterity. Maybe posting, who knows. Yeah, I couldn't let well enough alone, so I decided to go ahead and, as you can see, took out the paint racks, clean up the workbench. Actually kind of forced me to clean things up and organize it, which I desperately needed to do, so a little fringe benefit. So I'm going to go ahead and see how long I want to make this extension of the Olean staging, which ends right here now. So we'll see. 2 tracks, 3 tracks, how long, I don't know. Stay tuned for more exciting updates. Quick in progress. Alright, so having some fun here. Going for it, dudes. So I had an old piece of 1x6. Figured, I'll use it, because the 1x4 I had, if I use it for the front, I didn't have enough for both. Overkill, yeah, whatever. But I had it, so I didn't have to buy anything. Everything else there is just kind of sitting in place. I'm going to come back. I'm going to lag screw it. Just put 1 lag screw into each stud, although it's in there with number 9, 2, I think 3-inch drywall screw, so it ain't going nowhere, but I'm just, whatever. A little support there at the end, so I'm going to run it all the way up. Now I am going to lose a little bit of storage there, but c'est la vie. This is going to be a nice little bit of staging action going on here then. So there we go. Alright, let's keep working along and see how much fun I can have. Alrighty, here we go. Got things pretty much all installed. At least the shelf is in. Added some masonite to the front just to dress it up a little bit. I did put cork down. I ran out of cork. Figures. I thought I had some more sheets, but I ran out. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait and buy more and spend more money. But I did have some of the regular, cork roadbed profiled stuff. So I just put that in. Hey, it works fine for staging. Nice. Okay, so then I got to figure out if I want to, and I did run the wires, so the track feeder buses are already there. I did it before I put everything on. It's just easier to run. Now I just got to figure out where I want to drop the feeders, but that should be pretty simple to get underneath there. I might add another strip. You can kind of tell I had an original LED strip lights there. I may add some here now, since that'll be the work area. That's just sitting there. I'm not sure I'm going to keep that there. I did it just to add some weight when I was weighting down the cork. I don't know that I'll leave that there. It might be kind of annoying. This one I may. That may not be a problem. But I need to get everything back in, see where the paint racks fit, and how I'm going to set up the workbench. I like it though. It's kind of forced me to organize it. I'll have to go through this menagerie of stuff over here and get it reorganized, and it was needed. It was getting a little bit sloppy. So, that is that. Now, the track isn't in yet. I just want to make sure I have enough, which I do. I'm waiting for... I did get a couple more Atlas rerailers just to have them here in the yard. Why not? So they're coming. I do have a couple quick sticks coming to dress up the Fast Tracks turnouts. Wouldn't be necessary, but what the heck? I'll do it. So once that all comes in, then I'll get this all done, and then again, of course, get the JMRI hooked up and have my computer running right here, and been able to do some good programming and consistent and speed tabling. Alright, so that's it. Extended staging. The main line track, the third one, and that's about 10 foot long. That's not bad. The next one over is about 9'4", and about 8'10" for the other one. So got some nice room. So probably can easily stage, I was hoping for 3. I might be able to get 4 trains in here, and maybe 2 on one track if one's a local and one's a little passenger train. Anyway, so it's I'm glad I did it. Got it done, out of the way. Now I can move ahead, get this done. I know I don't like to do science projects and go down into rabbit holes, but this wasn't that deep a rabbit hole. Slightly deep, but done, out of the way. So now I'm traveling. I'm going to be gone for a week, so I'm going to lose 5 days of, anyway. So hopefully more to come when I get back. Alrighty, here we are. You can see the extension is, well, made. It's done, sort of. The track's all cut. Everything's, you know, figured out where it's going to go. It's not yet secured. And I don't think I'm going to glue it down. I'm just going to get some tacks and tack it down. Because it's only a staging yard. But everything is cut. Got some judicious use of re-railers. I do have a little bit of work going on up here. I decided to, don't ask me why. You can see I extended it, so I cut it back into the mountain a little bit there. Just give me some more room on the pocket track, and I'll paint that up. I extended this, and it originally ended right here. I just cut like a 4 1/8 by 5 5/8 piece of plywood, put it in, put another support there. So that gives me a nice, like a 32-inch pocket there. I might even get like 2 sets of power sitting here, or maybe like 1 set and 1 3-unit set. I'm not sure, but anyway. I figured I got it here. It's just in staging. I might as well extend it as much as possible. Couldn't help myself. You can see I put some Fast and Final down. Once that dries, probably all I'll do is just sand it a little bit, paint it up. I don't think I'm going to scenic back here. People are teasing me that I should put a backdrop along here, but I'm like, oh, good Lord. Anyway, although I may, who knows. Alright, so that's it. Now, a couple other things I do want to get. I want to get some LED strip lights to put underneath here to give me some more illumination. I think that would work out fairly well. You can kind of see how it is there with a strip light that ends. Where's it end? I think right. Yeah, it ends right. It comes around the corner here and ends right there. So that's a pretty nice light. So I'll probably do that. Some folks had asked if I was going to have a paint booth, and the plan was originally to put it here, because you can see I have the vent already. I had the contractor already put that in way back when I was doing the basement. So that's for eventually for a paint booth. And I think one of them still might sit here if I ever get that encouraged to actually, you know, airbrush and be painting and weathering with an airbrush. But we'll see. But for now, it's going to remain in the workshop. I'm going to put the paint racks back up here. Slide them all the way down. They should fit up there just fine. The other one will fit there. I did put some Fast and Final on that to try to clean up the gaping holes that were in there. And I think I even have some of the paint. I might be able to touch it up a little bit, but I'm not super worried about it. So, alright, so that's that. So let's keep working. I do need to figure out how to wire it, all the wiring's run. Because, you know, I have the on-off for 3 tracks, and now I've got 5 tracks. And somewhere in here, I'll probably put a switch. This here will be the programming track. I did order a SPROG. I decided to go that route. That's what I decided. That's the way I'm going. So I may want to drill a hole here and, you know, put a nice toggle there for programming or run, and then get her done. Get it wired up, and I'm kind of curious to back a train in here and see how big a train I can fit in. It's nice. Okay. More to come as we progress here with the Olean staging expansion. Oh man, look at this mess. Alright, just a little a whining, complaining in progress. These are the power feeders, basically just for the coming in off the main line. Look how many I have to add. This is crazy. I mean, look at them all. Look at the mess down there. The frogs are in. Their power, you probably can't see. Can you see there's the hex frog juicer. Yeah, I know. That's what I used. Now all this shenanigans is for the mainline power coming in, because all of they're gapped. So from here back, you know, each of the tracks can be turned off basically, and then this will be the programming track, and the engine pocket can be turned off by a switch. Same back there. So rear pocket, front pocket, and programming track. And then individually all 5 tracks can be turned off. But all this is just because, you know, when you have, for example, here's a frog. Get a pointer. So here's a frog. That's powered. Now from here, this is where the gap is on the frog, up to, well, actually this goes all the way up through, up to here. is a gap. So that piece of track's got to be powered. So you have to add a little feeder to that. Now some of these are wee little things. For example, right here, again, here's a frog. Alright, so this frog is powered. And from here, there's the insulated gap. Well, that little piece of track's got to be powered. So you got to solder on a feeder. Anyway, so it's just, you got to think about what tracks need power because of the frog gaps, and then the gaps to the individual staging tracks. So, alright. Because I was doing this, I'm like, this might take a couple feeders. I'm like, oh, man. This is way more than I thought. Alright, anyway. And then, of course, I got to figure out how to connect all this crap down below. But, alright, we'll get to that. Alright, enough whining and complaining. Just put on our big boy pants and get the soldering iron out, and let's go to town. Okay, we're back in the darkness. That is the staging expansion. So everything's down. I have all the turnouts. The turnouts are in. The caboose throws are in. You can see I just labeled the tracks quickly with a label maker. All the feeders are in except for a couple that I need to work on. I had to modify the feeder arrangement because I added a track and I decided to kind of renumber them. So before, the main line was always power, but now I can shut it off. So I have tracks 1, 2, 3 on this box that I had originally, and I'm going to add another one, which I have made. It's just the wood glue is drying up. I can't put it right here because there's a darn 2x3 there, so I had to move it over. And then I had to add in feeders from the switches for tracks 4 and 5. So it's track 1, 2, 3, also the main 4 and 5. So I was able to monkey things around. Tracks 1, 2, 3. 3 is also the main. I'm going to label that. Are working now. I did also finish up the switches here for the rear pocket, which is an engine pocket there to turn it off. And then the front pocket, which is the pocket off as well as the programming track. And right down here behind the soldering iron, yeah, I know it's dark, that's going to be the connection for the SPROG. So when I get that in, that will then be programmed through JMRI with the SPROG, off to keep things quiet, and then on, run, when I want to use that to bring power out or whatever I decide to do with it. So, as you can see, I have to still, yes, I get this in because this new little box is drying up, but I have the runs up for the DCC power from the main bus. Then I go to the bottom of the switches are right here. The top goes out to basically the feeder runs for the track. So that's pretty much done. It's a matter of getting this in. I'm also going to add an LED here, which is right there. I had one before because the entire branch, all of staging here, slow pan, and then back through the tunnel, and I know it's going to be impossible to say, but anyway, back into Wallace Junction is protected with a breaker. I think one of the PSX. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I had it for years. I put it on there only because, and again, initially, this wasn't so much going to be staging as where I could work and access, DCC power to work on stuff. And if I shorted something, I didn't want the whole layout to drop. So I put the branch line, which is what it is now, on a separate breaker. And the way I can test that, I didn't run anything back here yet, but I can test things. And the way I'm testing it is, so I think tracks 1, 2, and 3 are working. So I'm going to turn on tracks 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take this bad boy here, and if I cause a short, you should hear a buzzer go off, and that LED should light. So let's see if things are working. Let's go on track 1 here. Hey. Doing its job. Track 2. There we go. Track 3. Okay. So that'll give me an indication if I'm back here doing something and I can hear the buzzer go off. I don't know if you're picked up on the camera or not, but I can hear it go off. and see the light go on. So I know, hey, something's going on, you're doing something. And I also did check the two pockets just to make sure. I turn them on, check the front pocket. I get a buzzer and an LED, check the rear pocket. And then in a couple of places on the main line. Ooh, a little Arky Sparky. Okay, so it appears everything looks, turn those back off, turn that off. And then for now, turn 1, 2, and 3 off. So I didn't have any short circuits other than the ones that I caused myself to test things and to verify the LED does indeed go off. So I'll have that wired in to this panel here. I'm going to get that done. Probably get this in tomorrow. And then I can go in and clean the track and start running some stuff. And make sure everything runs. Because of course, nothing buzzed. No shorts when I turned the layout on. Which is good. But you never know when you start running across gaps and if you have a flip polarity or something like that. So I will test it, run across all the insulated gaps to make sure everything is good to go. Alright, so that's it. So, alright, more to come as we keep progressing here. This is taking me a lot longer than I thought. A lot more wiring than I thought, but okay, anyway. Stop whining, get back to work. Alrighty, we're back. I got this little box made up and installed. The two switches for tracks 4 and 5. And my little LED. Isn't that cute how I labeled that? Isn't that so nice? I'm like Bart Simpson was a label maker. Alright, so so that's done. And again, unfortunately, I couldn't put it right against here because I have a 2x3 in here. That was part of the original shelf, so whatever. Alright, so I ran everything. There's no short circuits. All the switches work. My little friend up here was New York Central GP9. Helped me out doing some running. He's off right now. The only things I noticed, I'll say 3 things. Right here, I forgot to solder these rail joiners, and I did have a stall there. Now, it may be because these are, to be honest, these are the bigger rail joiners, a little bit loose. Alright, so I'll just come in and solder that. Now, should take care of that because the feeder is right here. So, that's there. This is soldered from the original track. That's where it ended, and I added this little tiny piece here. So I might go ahead and solder that. This one frog back here, and it probably can't even see it, but everything's good, but it's off a little bit. I don't know what happened. If something moved slightly when I cut the gap. It's just odd. I mean, it's not a huge deal, and not like you're running the Acela through here at 120 miles an hour, but it just kind of bugs me. So I might come in there and file it a little bit, but nothing's loose. No solder joints broke or anything like that. It just seems unusual. And the other thing, the final thing, I was a little worried about the 3-way turnout here, but everything seemed to run fine. Had a stall, but it was because the track was dirty, so I cleaned the track. And I noticed one area, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's this little piece of track from here to here. Because it's gapped right here. Yeah, I don't even know if this will, if I try to zoom in, if it'll even focus. And of course, most people probably don't even really care. But from here is the frog, and that's all powered. Here's the frog, and it's powered. This rail's powered. Now, see this little piece from here to here? It's only about 1 inch long. It's got no power. Now, I don't think it's going to be a major issue. Although it's to a PCB board tie, so I could come in here and just drop a little feeder. Which I'm probably going to do, because now that I know it's here, it bothers me. It did stall once. But again, it could be because it was dirty track. But it definitely is from here to here. It's not powered. So I may go ahead and try to drop a feeder in when have the soldering iron out. Other than that, everything ran okay. All the caboose ground throws seem to work okay. So now I'm going to tidy up the wiring underneath. Get the paint racks reinstalled, which are going to go back up here at that end. Back on the wall. And then get everything back and reorganize. I kind of like that I had to rip everything out, because every 6 months, You know, if, I don't know, people are like me, you kind of get sloppy and you just want to go back and then kind of clean things up. Well, this is my opportunity, so I need to spend several hours getting things organized and obviously cleaned up because it's a mess. You know, work on the wires a little bit there and everything, and probably try to add another light underneath there, which I think I have a piece I can use for that. So, all right, getting there. And then it's a matter of loading up staging and seeing how long a train I can run or bring in here now. So, all right, let's do some of the gingerbread tidying up work and be back with a final little video here, a segment of the expanded staging. Okay, here we go. First train coming back into the new and expanded Olean staging. This train was over in Eugene Yard, and I'm going to bring them back and kind of reshuffle things here, getting ready for eventually the next op session. Or I guess I'd call it my first real op session, but this is the Reading connection train that runs from Eugene over to Olean and thence somehow through some convoluted routing over to the Reading. Although really it probably would have gone through Williamsport, which makes a lot more sense. So maybe this bar runs from Reading power. I don't know. It's just the power that was on the train. Woohoo! So, alright. So as he sneaks into the yard, you can also see here, or maybe see, it's dark, but I did get the SPROG. That's a Broadway limited engine I was playing with, trying to program. Gotta love Broadway. So the SPROG is in. It comes up to that little terminal board, then up to the front track there, so I can have program off to kill the pocket, or run, which is if I'm storing power there and bringing them out. So that's all done. So I do need to do something at some point with the computer, because it is kind of in the way, especially if, just keep an eye on my incoming freight here. Now if I go to swing the string gate, which so far has been working nicely, but it definitely is, you know, because of that table there, a problem. Not a huge one. You can get in and out fairly well from the layout to the crew room, but for me, that's a little tight even for me to fit through if I'm just working around. So what I tend to be doing, just been taking this and kind of swinging it. Oops. Yeah, it swings pretty good. So I got to work on some for the computer, but the rest of the expanded staging here, again, got that final box added with the other two tracks and the short circuit, and just for fun. So let's have these three tracks now come all the way back. This guy slowly makes it. I want to see if this whole train fits. It should. Alright, so then I also added, this is the work area here. And what I decided to do, let's see, I went, ta-da! Woo! Added some lights. In fact, it's so light I need to change the f-stop. Look at that. And then this light still works, of course. So that's a nice little lighted work area. And as this dude gets close to the end, a little bit more. One thing I noticed is the wireless throttles do have a wee bit of an issue. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cars in a cabin didn't quite fit. I mean, to clear, he probably should be here, so okay. So if I had to have you know, that large a train, which is probably about the longest that I would do. Yeah, all right. Fits in there fairly well. So, all right. I thought I could sneak him a little further, so maybe. And then another thing I did over here, I added this. These were where I had the craft paints above those, but I can't because I moved them up. I want to have room to work the tracks there. But I used 2 of those individual racks and then put all my favorite, you know, go-to weathering washes and pigments right in front of me, so I can just sit and reach right for them. And then in the back there, I even got, not that anyone really cares, but, oh boy, plenty of light here now. So they got, you know, I haven't been at this for several years now. I kind of know what I reach for. So, files, sandpaper, various other things, various knives, different X-Acto knives, paintbrushes there, and then kind of the most used Vallejo paints that I go for. Some razor saws sitting over there. Over in here I threw in some more sanding stuff and some other building materials, Sharpies, my little drills. I really wish I had a way to store these better, but I'll dream up something. So they're all right there. I cleaned up that mess. Oops, which you cannot see. How's that? A little more organized. Not the greatest, but it's better. So things definitely are a lot cleaner. At least for now. Until I start working and I mess it up again. I kept this whole shelf. Sorry about that. Pretty clean. I got my 12-volt supply for when I'm testing LEDs and structure lights. My Heiko soldering set, Northwest Shortline tools, and the rest is still pretty open. I put a lot of stuff. Vacuum cleaner, so cleaning. So I put some of the craft paints down there. Okay, I know it's too dark. And then I decided to use these kind of totes to store detail parts, trackside details, vehicles, figures, just everything's kind of organized. And because I don't reach for that stuff all the time, so as long as it's relatively close, I can get it. So, and like I said, there's the computer. Now it's, you know, nicely right next to the programming track, and I have been playing with JMRI, but that's a whole other story that I won't get into. It's fun. It's interesting. It has some quirks to it, but I'm having some fun programming locomotives, or at least starting to build the roster. So, all right, I'm probably going to wrap this up because I got a bunch of travel. Several weeks. I probably won't be back till mid-September. Just with things going on, work, taking our son to college tomorrow, back down for the weekend for an Air Force ROTC meeting. So there's just a lot of stuff coming up, and then a week travel, back home for Labor Day, another week travel through the weekend to do a transformer installation. Then home. Then our mini-meet comes up, so I'll probably put one more public service announcement right after this for the mini-meet with just some more information on that. And then probably won't be back again until mid-late September, just because I'm not going to have a lot of time to do a whole lot of stuff. But at least I did get this done. Again, much cleaner, more organized. I like it. That's now my happy place, at least for now, until I get, like I said, until I get working and kind of trash it. I'm going to try to keep it relatively organized. So, all right, there we go. All right, stay tuned for a little bit on the final public service announcement for the mini-meet coming up for our division, and I'll be back when I can. All right, mini-meet. So here we are. Again, this will probably be the last kind of public service announcement I do for this. It is on Saturday, September 14th. To get some information, here's the Western Allegheny Division, or Division 12, of the Mid-Central Region homepage, and it's div12mcr.org. You come here, then click on the Mini-Meet tab. Boom. What this will do, if it works, hopefully, is the Mini-Meet. Okay, so, Mini-Meet. September 14th. And this is some information about the clinic. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the clinics themselves. That's probably what most people are interested in. So the registration flyer is out there and available. And it is, I thought I had it pulled up. Let me see if I can click on it here. And boom. Okay, so September 14th, mini-meet. This is information about it. It's at the Ambassador Center on the Hilton Hotel side. Exit I-90 off of exit 24 off I-90, Erie, PA. That's the upper Peachtree area. That's where pretty much everything in Erie is. We start at 8. There's a little continental breakfast. Clinics, which I'm going to cover a lot more shortly. And then some other information you can read here. Now, there will be layout open houses. My layout will be open Friday evening and Saturday evening, so the night prior to and the night of. And there will be a list coming out. Everyone that registers will get a list of all the open houses. There's an opportunity for operations sessions as well. You have to indicate that you want to go to an op session, and information then will be emailed to you. So this is the form you fill out. You fill it out. You pen your check, depending if you're an NMRA member or not. Although for the non-NMRA cost of $42, if you're eligible, you can get one of the rail passes, which I think is what, a 6-month trial membership or something like that. So it's worth it. Now note here, after the 24th, I'm going to post this on the 22nd of August, so we're getting close. Add $5. That's just trying to encourage people to register early and register often, but that's coming up pretty soon. So hopefully, if you can make it, if you've been kind of holding off and your plans maybe been finalized, love to see you, love to meet you, love to meet a lot of the viewers of the channel, as well as other folks. Love to meet everybody. All right, so that's that. Now, I know what everyone's asking is, well, what about the clinics? I'm paying for this. I want to make sure there's some decent clinics, and I totally agree with you. So here is as of the 22nd, the clinic schedule. We have two tracks going. We start at 9 a.m., and I'm going to kind of walk through these quickly, and then I'll actually show you the descriptions of them so you can kind of peruse them a little bit. So we're going to start off 9 o'clock, and we have 2 rooms, very nice room. I'll tell you what, guys, these are nice clinic rooms. If you've ever been to, let me say this, the ones, conventions and meets that I've been to, the clinic rooms are often okay, a little bit small, but what really just rubs me the wrong way is the chairs are just packed right next to each other, and you're jammed in there like sardines. And let's be honest, a lot of us, and I count myself in this group, of us model railroaders aren't the smallest guys, so it's just, I don't like it. These rooms are nice. They're actually large enough with a good enough view of the screen, and the AV equipment is fairly good, that it's going to be set up like a classroom with a little table in front of you. So it's just going to be a really nice venue. So we kick off 9 o'clock. Eric Hartle from CMR, they're our vendor. He's going to cover weathering with decals. Bill Schopf, who many of the viewers should know, is going to do a clinic on woodblock buildings. Now, if you've seen the videos that we've done in terms of the woodblock buildings, I went down with Bill and I videotaped that. There's a couple videos on the channel about the block buildings, but you can meet Bill in person and they'll show you what he does there. Doug Sandmeyer, one of the board of directors of Division 12, has a real cool clinic on structure lighting. Dick Bradley and Roger Schulenberg are going to talk about modern buildings. George Pandiolis is going to talk about the PRR Panhandle. Dave Neff, turnout tuning. Dave Ellis, who's the treasurer of our division, will talk about backdrops. Jerry Jordak, we have to add his last name, Mr. Jerry Jordak. He models the E&P branch, the old Pennsylvania, Erie, and Pittsburgh branch in the Penn Central era. He's got a really cool clinic on that. Brad White, who is our superintendent of the division, has a good seminar on how he developed the operations for the Chautauqua branch, his layout. Neil Shore has a really good, I wasn't able to see this at the last clinic, but some of the other division guys went. It's great. It's a really good clinic. This Rob Bennett guy, you might have heard of him. That's me. I'm going to talk about the large power transformers for model aerators, and Mike Hawk, another executive of the division, will do a clinic on timetable and train order operations. So this is the clinic listing. I'll kind of, again, scroll. I'm not going to read it all to you, but you can kind of look at it, read it, see what might interest you. Like I said, Dave Ellis, we're talking about backdrops. Mike Hawk has a really good, I've seen this clinic, it's very good. Mike does a really nice job on this for timetable and train order operations. It is designed for those that are really kind of unfamiliar with it. And then, as you see here, there's going to be a sign up at the clinic, first come, first served, the first 6 or 7 people to actually attend an op session, I believe 7:30 Saturday evening, right after the mini-meet at Mike's layout. Mike lives about, I'll say about 20 minutes. He lives real close to me, as a matter of fact. But anyway, he lives about 20 minutes away. A beautiful layout. He models the Susquehanna in New York in the early 1940s. Great layout, and it really does. It truly operates timetable and train order. Really cool. So if you're interested, the clinic's very good, and if you want to sign up when you get there, if you get there early, sign up for the op session at Mike's lot. You will not be disappointed. Large power transformer basics. That's my clinic, and again, I kind of discussed this before. I'm in the industry. I've been in the transformer repair business for 25 some years, and what I'm doing is I'm going to model a simulation of the Westinghouse factory in Sharon, Pennsylvania in the late 1950s. Well, to get into that era, a lot of the transformer loads that you see, either as flat car loads or as scenic details, really leave a lot to be desired. Not that they're not prototypical, they're just not right for the era. And I'll kind of walk through some of that, show examples of power transformers, what is and what is not a power transformer, talk about the various types, the different uses, how they fit into the power grid, and then talk about some of the components that really kind of highlight what era you're working on. Bill Schaff, again, is doing his wooden blocks, and that's going to be very similar. He did a great clinic. He did this for our division. Bill does a great job. He's a teacher, or he was a teacher, a university teacher. Great clinic, great clinician, and you won't be disappointed. If you've seen the videos and you want to see a little bit more or talk to Bill in person, this is the clinic you want to see. This is Brad White. Again, this is his clinic. Very good. Again, he did it as well for us at our division on how he developed the operating scheme for his Pennsylvania Railroad Chautauqua branch. And that's what he models. It really is the Chautauqua branch. I'd have to ask him exact era. I'm going to say it's late 50s into the early 60s perhaps. I don't think he's nailed down too tight on that, but he went in, he used the Pennsylvania Railroad CT-1000. He has the right industries, the right track plan, the right trains. They run per the timetable, the Pennsylvania Railroad timetable, so it's a really good clinic on how to set up operations. Again, this is Neil's engineering the right of way, outstanding. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, I did not get to see this myself. I was in a different clinic, but the guys from the division that went said this was great. So I don't know if I can be able to sneak in and see this or not. I'd really like to. So Neil's engineering the right of way, really good clinic. Structure lighting with NCE's Lights. That's what Doug's doing. Doug Sandmeyer, part of our board of directors. And he's going to go through using these NCE Lights. He gave us this clinic in August, right, at our division meeting. Really interesting. To be honest, I was not aware of these. And he really kind of opened my eyes to what these are, how you can use them. Now, I'm not saying they're the cure-all for everything, but they're really neat devices. And this is something definitely worth seeing because he walks you through what they are, the different options, actually shows you some programming of them, how they work. He's actually got a structure that he has them in, so it's a really good clinic. Weathering with decals, again, Eric Hartle from CMR, who does sell decals, and they're going to be there. They're a vendor, so they're going to have a lot of their wares for sale at the mini-meet. We don't have a real good description of it, but basically it's how to use their decal sets to weather stuff. Streamlined Modern Buildings, again by Dick Bradley and Roger Schulenberg, two other members of our division. Dick Bradley is our only master model railroader in our division. Very, very talented model railroader. And Roger's got a great layout. In fact, both Mr. Bradley and Mr. Schulenberg I did layout tour videos of. So if you're interested in meeting those two gentlemen, they're going to be there and present this, excuse me, this clinic on these structures. Again, George will be here to talk about his layout on his Pennsylvania Railroad Panhandle Division. Pretty large layout, sounds really cool. I've not seen this one, but just reading this description here, this sounds like a really nice clinic. So I'm really kind of looking forward to, again, I don't know if I'm able to sneak away and see some of these, but these look pretty darn good. Terminating turnout trouble, Mr. Dave Neff. Now that's something we all need to look at. I think we all could use that, because Lord knows I've had enough trouble with turnouts. So this sounds like a real, I've not seen it myself, but it sounds like a really good clinic. And then Jerry Jordak will be doing his clinic on the Penn Central era version of the Erie and Pittsburgh branch in the Newcastle, Pennsylvania area. I've heard about Jerry's layout. I've not yet been able to visit it. Very, very nice layout, so this should be a really interesting clinic covering Jerry's layout. So that's it. So that's what we're looking at, what we're hoping to accomplish. Again, we really, this is our first time doing this as a division. So we're hoping to put on a good show. We're hoping to get a fair amount of attendees, where we want to make it worthwhile for folks to come up to see the clinics, to meet some other of the local Northwest Pennsylvania modelers, see some layouts, do an op session. Really, really hoping that if you're listening to this as a viewer, you can make it up. I would love to meet as many viewers as possible. Although, unfortunately, I've got a fair amount of viewers from overseas, from Europe, from Thailand, from New Zealand, from Australia. I'd love to meet you guys as well, but I know it's a long commute for a one-day mini-meet, but someday, hopefully, we can meet somewhere. So if you can, please do join us. Would love to see you here. Just another real quick look at the schedule. This might tweak a little bit as we get confirmation from the clinicians, what time they may or may not want to be able to be there, or any conflicts they may have. But this is pretty darn close. We got all the slots filled. We're really looking forward to having folks come in, enjoy the session, enjoy the clinics. No, I don't want it. Why does it always do that? Sorry, folks. All right, so with that, we'll wrap it up. So again, we're hoping to see everyone out there on September 14th at the Ambassador Center, the Hilton side, I-90X24. Hope to see you there. Really look forward to this event. Hope to meet a lot of folks from the channel and other model railroaders in general. So thanks again. Really do hope to see everybody there.